everyone, my name's Dave. I work for SoundLab, which is an amazing charity based in Glasgow that gives music lessons to anyone who's wanting to learn music. And I teach music technology using synthesizers and Ableton Live. Now this piece of software, if you've been following my videos so far, you'll know it's free for 90 days at the moment. Now there's no better time to learn Ableton than right now. 90-day free trial. So hopefully this series of videos has been helping you, and this week we're going to look at the arrangement of the song, how to develop your loops into a full-blown song, and I can't wait to share that with you. So let's have a look at it. So everyone, now we want to arrange our music, and that is when you take all your little bits of music and arrange it into one full song. What I'd recommend is trying to think of yourself like a sculptor. You've got all the material, now you want to kind of sculpt them into a ready-made track. That's what we want to do, shape it and add the finishing touches. Now this next slide I'll show you is actually a classic pop song structure that used in pop, rap, electronic music and beyond. All you need is to write 3 sections of music, A, B, A, B, C, B, so A, B, C, and you have enough to make around about a 3-minute song. Another thing that's important is that the energy in your track. So quite often in electronic music it'll start, build up, then drop down a bit, then add a bit more, then near the middle drop right down, no bass elements can be heard, and then it's really quiet, and then poof, all the music comes back in, goes along for a bit in an exciting chapter, and then fades away towards the end. So the energy in your track is important as well, and we tend to call that the bass drop. You take away all the bass and then poof, everything comes back in. So arranging your track's important. One last thing to do is add the finishing touches. We call those ear candy as well. So this is when you have one-off sounds at the start or the middle of your track. They only appear once or twice, and I'll show you how to do those as well. So let's jump over to Ableton. Now as you can see, I've got Ableton ready here. Your song might sound a little bit like this, with, you know, some drums. It might have some bass. It might have some pads, and might even have kind of a sample in it or two as well. Now what I'm going to start by doing, because it can get complicated and confusing here, is color coding everything. So I know these are my drum kits here, so I'm going to make them light orange, yeah? Make the clips light orange as well, and 808 C78. Now I know this one is a loop of music if I double click it, but I know it's drums, so I'm going to right click that, make that dark orange, so I know what that is. I know my sample I added was actually drums too, so I'm going to make that dark orange, and drag that over the other one. This impulse, I'm pretty sure is drums as well. Let's check it. Yep, so that one's an instrument, so light orange, and drag that over there. I've got my bass here, let's listen to that. Okay, I'm just going to rename that. Okay, bass. And to rename it, you just right click and go rename. Or you can use Control R or Command R if you're on a Mac. That's my bass line now. This one's my melody. And I like my melodies to be green. I don't know why. It's up to you what color you make it. Totally up to you, but definitely color it all. Melody, and then my pad is here as well. Let's do that. I'm gonna make my pad yellow. Okay. So now you can see how it looks a bit more organized. If I can just glance, orange is my drums, purple's my bass, green's melody, and there's my pad. So definitely color code and name things. Now remember I said you can launch the whole this row here, and each row is called a scene by clicking this button. And if we go back to our arrangement, we needed 3 sections. So imagine that as 3 scenes in Ableton, 3 rows. So I'm going to call this one A, right click A. Next one, okay, rename that B, and the next one, rename that C, okay. Now I just have to make some new loops for the next bit, and it's easier than you think. For example, if I right click my bass, go copy, right click, paste, it's there. And that is the same one, okay. But if I double click it, and I need to make sure none of these are selected, so just click in a blank space like that and hit invert this button, invert. Now here's the original one. Here's the next one. And what that does is it completely swaps the notes around and gives you a simple part 2 straight away that works musically. I'm gonna right click and rename that inv so I know it's inverted. And I'll do the same for the melody. So I go right click, copy, right click, paste, double click it, make sure none of it's selected by clicking in the blank space so it looks like that. Click inv, and my melody, my first melody should sound like this. I'll solo it so you can hear, okay? That's it there. Next one, she sounded a little bit different, but still musical. Here we go. And guess what? I'm going to rename that inv as well. And I'll do the same for the fog pad. So what's this? You can actually go duplicate and it'll go down as well. Click, invert, then it's inverted. Okay, so now if I play these all here, that's section A. Now I've got section B really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still works musically. Quick way to make your section B. And sometimes if you want, you can use the same drum beat again. Like I'll show you. If you click it, do Control D, duplicates it down. Maybe I'll add some new 808s in. Oh, it's muted maybe. It's funny I can't hear that. But I can hear it now. It doesn't have to, you don't have to have all these things here. You can if you want. Let's try something else. So now I have section A and section B like that. Now another trick you can do is then take that one again, copy it, duplicate it. So that's our bass. Now section C has only got the bass, but that's the same. So go into it, make sure you're not in pen mode, click about, and I did inv last time. Let's try rev. That reverses it. Okay. Just rename that rev. Okay. And do the same again. So copy the top one, paste it there, go into it, hit rev. I'll do the same again, copy the top one, paste it in there, double click that, make sure nothing's selected, hit rev, it's reversed now too. And of course I'll rename them rev as well. This is the super quick way, if you're stuck for ideas, to make new parts for your song. Now here's part 1 again. Right, here's part 2. Or part B I should say. And part C is coming up. Then you go back to part A. Now traditionally part C is normally a bit quieter, so it's okay if it doesn't have all the drums as before. So right click, maybe I have one of the beats from before, but maybe I'll go into this one and I'll do something like maybe change that to beats and pitch it down. So the first one sounds like this, and this sounds like this. Just by re-pitching that same loop, I can change it. Since it's a sample, I can do that. Maybe add in some percussion, draw in some new percussion. Yeah, I quite like that. So now we have got all our sections here, and it's good to label them as well. So I'll rename that pitch down, pitch down, and then rename that C, just so we know that's part C. Rename that to part B. That's part B as well. Part B. And sometimes with the top ones, if it's like blank, you know, you probably know it's part A because it's in the party bit. But I'll just to be a completist, I'll show you that as well. Part A as well. So we now have 3 sections to our song, A, B, and C, like before in this thing here. So now we want to get it from session mode to arrangement mode, and to do that I hit tab on my computer keyboard. Now this is arrangement mode here, and what I want you guys to do is follow this step. Maybe close your browser just now so you got space. These are all big, so I want to click them, click one, go to the bottom, click the bottom one whilst holding shift. So you click the top one, hold shift, click the bottom one, they're all selected, and then this little button folds them up or down. And we want to click it, so they're all in like that. Then you also want to click the return to arrangement button, boom, and that'll make it ready to rock. So do that carefully, guys. You'll need to make sure that's all set before you start arranging. Now each part, A, B, and C, normally lasts 16 full bars. So you can use locators to help you with that. Like I'm going to right click here, add locator, section A starts at number 1. Then 16 full bars it's going to go for. So the start of section B is going to go here at bar 17. Okay, so another 16 bars on, you got number 33. It's going to go A again. Let's call it A2. Then this one is going to be add locator, B2. This one's going to be, what was next? Let's check. A, B, and C is going to be our next one here. So let's call that C. And then it might not let us scroll along to add the rest, but we can do that later. So I'm going to go back to arrangement view. I'm going to grab A, drag it over, and I have to be really careful. I have to get them lined up exactly. Use the colors from before, remember. Make sure they're lined up exactly, vertically and horizontally. So in line with the start of section A, and the colors match what you've got before. That's really important. And that's your section A almost ready. You want to drag it out so it lasts the whole section. And to do that, you go just at the corner of a clip. It'll look like a bracket, and drag it out like that. And you do that with all of them like so. Okay. And if you go too far like that, don't worry, you can drag it back again. Okay. And remember, you want to make sure those markers A, B, A2, B2, and C are all in the right place. Each section 16 bars long. And the reason is bars that go in even numbers like 2 or 4. An 8-bar loop is super satisfying to the ear, and then if you've got 2 8-bar loops, that's normally enough for a section. So that's why we have it. Even numbers usually work well in Western style music. So I want section B in there now. So I go back, section B, I've got it named, drag it, make sure it's in the right place, lined up exactly, not too high, not too low. And the same thing again. Just drag that along, drag that along, drag that along. Click away, section B's done. And since I did section A already, I can just go there, click it, hit shift, click the bottom, right click, copy, click there, right click, and I should be able to right click, paste, boom. It's almost in the right place, but drag it, there we go. And section B, select that, hit shift on your keyboard, select that, right click, copy, right click, paste, boom, there's section B. I want section C, so I go back here, section C, I click it, drag it in. Remember, it's got to be aligned perfectly. Use the colors, and then drag that so it's 16 bars long, which will take you to bar 81 by the looks of it. So let's do that just now. Drag. So each one's 16 bars, and now we can add locator for B3, the last section. Remember, in our arrangement, B is the last one, so we're calling it B3. And we go take section B, click that, hit shift, click the bottom, right click, copy, click that, right click, paste, boom. you have now got all of your arrangement, and you can use this magnifying glass to scroll up and down to zoom in and out, and left and right to scroll along the way. So that's our arrangement, but if you play it, it sounds quite maximal. And not many songs start with everything. Remember our chart from earlier, the energy. We've completed this, but now we want to do the energy. So sometimes parts just come in a little bit at a time and then drop in and out. For example, I might not want all my drums to start until halfway through section 8. So I'll drag all my drums to there. So it just starts like this. And the drums are going to come in halfway through. Maybe I'll take the bass out for the second half of it by just clicking and dragging the bracket, remember. Drums come in. And one of my favourite tricks is to make the drums go away just for a little bit there. Maybe keep one of them going, right? Just at the end of a section. It'll feel like that's quite a fun way of doing that as well. And what I want you guys to do is for every section, play around with it and control the energy. And once you get to section C, remember, this is our drop. So we want the bass to come out. We want the drums to come out. Okay. Okay, maybe even the pad comes out towards the end. So you'll see how everything's coming out of section C. Okay. It's getting quieter. Getting quieter again. This is your drop. And then everything comes in. And you can even add some extra stuff in there. Like for example, I quite like this in section A. I quite like this part here. So I'm going to copy it and just paste it into section B3. You're allowed to do that. And I thought it might be cool to have a new drum loop in there. So I can go to my browser, packs, core library, get some loops, get some cool electronic loops like this maybe. Or this one? Maybe a loop. This one. Just drag it in here. Boom, it's there. Drag it along. Oh, it's there again. So listen to the drop now. Because it's orange and drums, I'll make sure it's with the drums by dragging up. So that's how you can add to your sections and take away from your sections in arrangement mode like that. And now once you've got your full song ready to go, and it looks a little something like this, doesn't have to be exactly the same, but you've kept the flow of your energy going, you've added a drop in section C, you might have added something extra to B3 to make it a bit more intense as well. Now one thing you can do is add in some ear candy. So quite often they're called risers. So if you go to packs and search, type in riser, hit return, let's see what we got here. I'm going to samples, drums, effects hit, and you should have some risers. Now, they are great at the drop. For example, I'm going to drag it in right at the end of the drop there. Okay. They're great with effects, so I'm going to put some audio effects on it, maybe put some echo on it as well. Okay, add the reverb up. Now have a listen to this on my drop, it'll sound more exciting now. So it adds a little bit of energy there. So remember to put in some risers at your drop. Also, you can put in cool sound effects, like in my outro, I like doing that. So to do that, I just go to packs, I want to go to samples, I want to go to texture this time, and then here there's some cool sounds, like for example, television crowd. It's like a TV crowd. I'm just going to drag that into the end of my song. In the last bit of my song, I'm just going to have the sound of a television crowd just for a laugh. Maybe quiet though. Make it. Nice little bit of ear candy at the end of my song that you didn't hear at the start. And speaking of the start, let's put something in at the start as well. What have we got here? Kind of cool sounds. Oh, I like that, just that kind of crunchy sound of a record. I'll drag it in this empty space, put it right at the start, okay? Maybe I'll drag it along so it happens all of section A and hit play. Turn it down a bit though. So we've got 3 pieces of ear candy in our track now. This kind of record sound in section A. We've got our riser in section C as well, the drop. And then here we've got our television crowd right at the end. So hopefully in this tutorial you've seen how you can go from having just one scene of clips. You can develop it using the invert technique and the reverse technique. You can then drag them into your arrangement mode, and you can put markers to help you every 16 bars, 16 full bars, remember. So don't put your marker at 16, because then your first section will only be 15 bars long and it needs to be 16, remember, even numbers are better. And you can then, once you've got your markers in, drag and drop everything in the way I showed you carefully, and then you can extend it or shorten it, and you can even add new sounds into your arrangement, new instruments, anything you want, ear candy, an extra synth line. It's all possible to add more just by dragging and dropping whatever instrument or sound you want to the empty space there. And just remember, if you ever get if you ever play around here, then go back to your arrangement, it might be grayed out, and that's because you've been playing around in session view, and so it doesn't delete your arrangement. You just need to click this return to arrangement button, boom, and it'll appear. So don't worry if that happens, it just returns you back to that arrangement the way it was if you were playing around in session view. So enjoy arranging your tracks, everyone. Next up, we'll be mixing them. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been a pleasure showing you that stuff in Ableton today. Remember to follow SoundLab on their social medias like Instagram and YouTube, and if you want to find out more, just leave a little comment. That would be awesome. And if you need to get stuck with anything, feel free to drop a comment as well, everyone. But thanks for tuning in, thanks to SoundLab for having me, and enjoy the rest of your music making.